Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia will have no victory days left after it loses the war in Ukraine. In a clip released minutes before Putin's propaganda parade in Red Square this morning, Zelensky stated, "Very soon there will be 2 victory days in Ukraine. And someone will have not even one left." Addressing the great people of mighty Ukraine, President Zelensky accused Putin of repeating the horrific crimes of Hitler's regime. He also said Russia traded on a rake by invading Ukraine. "Every occupier who comes to our land treads on it," he said. Zelensky added, "Our enemy dreamed that we would refuse to celebrate May 9th and the victory over Nazism. But today, we are fighting for a new victory." Zelensky said madman Putin is doomed. Because he was cursed by millions of ancestors when he began to imitate Hitler, he stated. And therefore he will lose everything. Zelensky wore his trademark green shirt as he walked down Greshchatayk, Kiev's main street, still littered with metal barricades. He said Russia resents Ukraine's freedom. "We are free people who have our own path. That scares them," he said. "There are no shackles that can bind our free spirit." He finished the 5-minute address by saying, "We won then. And we will win now too. Glory to Ukraine." The president started by looking back to celebrations last summer of 30 years of Ukrainian independence. The country celebrated its 3rd decade of freedom from the Soviet Union with a military parade on Greshchatayk on August 24. Zelensky said Russia had behaved like a feigned friend, which is worse than an insidious enemy. He quoted Ukrainian national philosopher Grigory Skovoroda, "There is nothing more dangerous than an insidious enemy, but nothing more poisonous than a feigned friend." Zelensky continued, "On February 24, we realized this when a feigned friend started a war against Ukraine. The road to victory is difficult. But we have no doubt that we will win." What is our advantage over the enemy? We are smarter. On One Book, a textbook on the history of Ukraine. We would not know grief if all our enemies could read it. Zelensky's dramatic video was released just an hour before Putin addressed Moscow's Red Square to mark Victory Day over the Nazis. Russia had hoped to use the May 9th celebration to tout its achievements in Ukraine. But a spate of military failings and a fierce Ukrainian resistance made that impossible. Instead, Putin said he invaded Ukraine to protect Russian minorities inside the country. He also accused the West of plotting to invade Russia. But the Kremlin leader stopped short of what many feared, an official declaration of war on Kyiv. This would have allowed him to mobilize Russia's military reserves and enlist more civilians to escalate fighting across the border. A planned flyover by his doomsday nuclear escape jet was also axed at the last minute, reportedly amid fears it could be attacked. The parade itself was also downsized from previous years, featuring almost a third fewer vehicles than in 2020. That's because Russia has committed, and lost, much of its ground forces in Ukraine.